In this video, I'm going to talk to you about your neutral spine and how to find your neutral spine. If you're new to Pilates and haven't done it before, it may not be a term you've come across and you may not know what it means. So I wanted to take this opportunity to explain it to you and show you so that when I use it in the workouts, you know what I'm talking about. It is different for everyone. We're all made slightly differently. So everyone's neutral spine will be slightly different. And it's one of those things when I first started doing Pilates, I spent a long time thinking, well, where is my neutral spine? What do we mean, my neutral spine? Is it here? Is it here? And I used to spend a lot of time practicing, looking in the mirror, test it out, and you gradually get to the point where you know where it is, where it feels right, and it becomes more automatic. So just bear with it. If it's the first time you've done Pilates and you're new to it and you're trying to be aware of your body position, just keep coming back to this video if you want to, and keep watching it and practicing, look in the mirror and so on, and it will become then second nature. Your neutral spine is a position of your pelvis that it means your back and your pelvis are in a safe position, in an ideal posture. That's what we're working towards, and you're in a position that you can work effectively when you're doing any exercises. I'm going to show you how to find it in different positions because it is different. It feels different whether you're standing or whether you're kneeling or on your back and so on. And because we're going to use these positions in Pilates and in the workouts, I wanted you to have a practice, a try out of what it would feel like. Oh, I'm going to show you standing first of all, and I'm going to purposely stand close to the camera so you can see, and it can zoom in on my pelvis and so on, so you can see what we're doing. So if I stand sideways, and you think about your pelvis here as being like a bucket, and it's full of water right to the brim. Now, if my bucket tilts this way, and it tilts forwards, okay, so we've gone from here to here, then the water's all going to fall out the front of the bucket. If I come back to here and then I'm in this position where I'm really tucking under, the back is flattening out there, the water is all going to fall out the back of the bucket. So you want somewhere in between. So just practice this movement. This is really good as well for just getting some movement through the lower back. If you suffer from quite a lordosis, an exaggerated curve here, and your posture is more like this, it will feel like you're really tucking under. Okay, it just depends on how you're used to standing, and it will feel different, okay, until you get used to it. So you're going to rock the pelvis forwards and backwards, and then you want to make the movement smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and you want to find your midway point. So we're aiming for the pelvis to be parallel to the floor. We want the tailbone here, our coccyx, pointing down to the floor. You will still have a slight curve in the back. Okay, that's normal. We just don't want an exaggerated curve. And again, it may feel that you're tucking under a little bit. If you're used to standing like this, it might feel the opposite. So just look in the mirror and check. And you want to try and then just sort of spend a few moments thinking, feeling that position. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what it would be like if you were in a kneeling position. Now I'll move back here so you can see me. So if you're in a kneeling position and your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips, again we have our two extremes. So if I arch my back, I'm lifting my head up, you can see I've got quite a curve here in my lower back. The opposite is if I tuck under, chin to chest, and I'm curving the back. Now this is really nice again for the back, just as an exercise to get some movement through the lower back. But they're your two extreme points. And so make the movement smaller and smaller, and you want to again find that midway point. You will still have a slight curve there, quite possibly, and that's where you want to aim for. So again, you can do it in the mirror, have a look and check. Okay, neutral spine, laying down. So if you're laying down on your back, and what we do here is, again, similar thing, is if you tilt the tailbone under, I'm just going to move my arm so you can see. If I tilt the tailbone under, I'm flattening the back here. Now what you can do is check with your hand, and you probably can find you can't really get your hand underneath at all. So you're really pressing the back into the floor, flattening the back. The opposite way is if I tilt my pelvis the other way and hollow the back. Look, can you see now? I can quite easily get my whole hand underneath. So again, they're your two extreme points. You want to find somewhere in the middle. So rock forwards and backwards with the pelvis. Find your midway point. When you feel you're there, check. And for most of us, you should be able to find that you can just get your hand under up to the first knuckle. Okay? So that's another way of checking. And then one last way is when you're laying down, actually you can do this when you're standing as well, is if you make a V shape with your thumbs and fingertips, and then you place the heel of your hand on the bony part of your hips, and your thumbs are sort of just below the belly button and your fingertips are pointing down to the pubic bone. So if I'm here and I'm standing and I'm in a neutral spine, my hands should point down, they should be flat. They're not pointing under and they're not, coming up either. And you can do the same thing when you're laying down. So again, I'm in this position, I'm going to check my neutral, I can put my hands in that V shape and my hands should be flat. Okay, so again, if I was tucked under, they'd be pointing up. If I had an excessive arch, they'd be pointing down. So you want them to be flat horizontal. So you don't have to do all of those. Some of those you'll click with and other ways won't work for you. You think, well, I'm not sure about that, but try them all. And as I said, it just takes a bit of practice. It just takes practice to get used to it. So keep practicing, look in the mirror, see how you get on and just keep working towards it, even if it doesn't happen straight away.